The mold, the carpet, the walls itself, the classrooms, the teachers, everything that you need in the school or could use in the school is not there. At this point, it's just like a daycare for teenagers.
Students at Block High School in rural Louisiana say conditions at their school are so bad that they're struggling to get an education.
As you can see right here, if you look closely, you got some the water that's been leaking. That's turning to mold. Like when you go in the classrooms, you can smell it.
That building there, B building, it is completely unsafe, but we still do go in there as far as using the auditorium.
These are the textbooks they were given at the beginning of the school year.
Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Teachers across the country continue to go on strike, but public education in rural areas gets little national attention. We traveled to Catahoula Parish, Louisiana, one of the poorest parishes, one of the poorest states in the country, to see why students are speaking out and what conditions in Deep South schools are like more than 6 decades after desegregation.
They try to make you a world history teacher, geography teacher, and a
ACT prep.
And a standardized test prep teacher. And are you certified for any of that?
I'm only certified in physical education.
Their athletic coach, Benny Volt, inspired his students to speak out.
I taught history for a little while. I taught the amendments. And you know, the First Amendment, you have the right to protest.
They made you teach history, so you said, okay, I'll teach them history. I'll teach them the history of protest.
I teach the history of protest.
Coverage tonight of the protests at Block High School.
We got teachers that are not certified teaching subjects that they don't even know.
If you're a teacher and you don't know what you're doing, how you expect me to do.
Block High School is situated in Jonesville, the poorest section of Catahoula Parish. Nearly 70% of seniors are black, and about 60% of students here do not go on to college after graduation. But 13 miles away, there's another school in the same school district that looks a lot different. Nearly 90% of the senior class here is white. They perform better academically and enroll in college at a higher rate.
So we just tried to film inside Harrisonburg High School, but the superintendent won't let our cameras inside. They don't want the principals to talk to us on camera. But there's a clear, notable difference in how the school looks compared to Block High School.
Dr. Gilly Freeman is in charge of all schools in the district, including Block and Harrisonburg High School.
When we talk to students and we talk to families at Block High School, they compare it to Harrisonburg. They say Harrisonburg has beautiful facilities. Why do you think they're saying there's such a difference?
Several of the other schools, communities have passed bond issues specifically around facility renovation and refurbishment, and in the recent years Jonesville hasn't passed any such issue to address their schools.
Freeman says that the state of Louisiana gives a set amount of money to school districts, but individual towns can raise additional money by issuing a bond or a tax.
What this has allowed them to do is to create inside a single school district high schools that are really inequitable in terms of their funding when it comes to facility maintenance, in a way that creates schools that are economically segregated and racially segregated.
Belinda Davis is a public policy professor and education advocate at Louisiana State University. We showed her video from inside Block High School.
The entire school board of Catahoula Parish ought to be ashamed that they have a school in that district that is in that kind of shape.
Do you think it's fair, the system as it is right now?
Well, that's a perception issue. Overall funding for public education for our district has reduced over the period of time. The demographics and the population of our parish has decreased, and quite frankly because of economic conditions, a lack of business and industry.
Block High School graduate Tamiko Bloodsaw works as an accountant at a local sheriff's office. She says the school district's budget shows how unequal the funding is.
This is their 2018-2019 budget. Jonesville has 3 schools that they're funding. This is the amount of revenue that's brought in for just Jonesville schools. Upkeep for the building and the grounds come out to be about $22,000. You have to divide that by 3 schools.
Is that enough money?
No, it's
for Block
not.
High School to get fixed?
No, not compared to the other schools. But you come to Harrisonburg, one school, they get a total of $20,000.
$20,000, whereas Block High School is getting like $7,000.
Yes.
These parents are getting ready to meet with school board members and the superintendent to demand that Block High School get fixed.
Okay, the first thing that we really need to discuss is where are they in the progress of the repairs for Block High School?
How did that meeting go?
What's going to happen is it's going to come down to a matter of integrity and accountability. Are they going to be a board and district of their word and start to do what we need them to do for the best interest of our children, and whether or not they're going to hold the necessary people accountable?
One potential solution that people talk about to fix the schools here is just to consolidate all the schools in the district. But we just got off the phone with a school board member who says that parents at Harrisonburg High School don't want their kids going to the same school as Block students because of their, quote, moral character.
I have some friends that go to Harrisonburg School, but they've talked about us and came back, and my friends are no longer friends with them because of the comments and things that they've said.
What kind of comments?
Racial comments.
Students there have said things about?
Students and teachers.
Like what kind of things?
Like, I'm not coming down to teach those animals, or, you know, stuff like that.
Shercold wants to go to college, but she says she's not ready.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do after high school. I might go to college and I might go into the Army because I don't think I'm mentally prepared for college as far as the education that I've lacked so far, and I just don't want to really go through that struggle.
So you don't feel like this school has prepared you for college?
No, sir.
You don't feel like you've gotten the education you need?
No, sir.
Who do you think should be held accountable for this?
Honestly, I think they all should be held accountable because it starts at the top. It takes us children to protest, to have people like you come down and talk to us. It's been going on far too long and you're a little too late.